Welcome back, my fellow agents. It is I, X7, or Agent of Awesome Action. Today we're going to be looking at a pilot movie for the famous Spirit that Will Eisner invented many, many years ago, decades ago. And this movie was produced in 1986 and broadcast in 1987. It runs a whopping 68 minutes, and it's available on Warner Archive. You can also see a copy of it on the Internet Archive. So we're going to be talking about it, and just because it's an interesting artifact, and your humble agent really likes it. And just a housekeeping note here: if I sound a bit mealy mouthed, it's because I just recently returned from the dentist to have a cavity filled, and this is my lower lip, and I hope they are satisfied. But be that as it may, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. What do you think about this movie? Is it good? Is it bad? It's always fun to talk about it. So, and if you could watch, 5, 10, or 15 minutes, probably isn't going to be a very long episode because it's not a very long movie, but I've got a special surprise at the end. And let's roll. We start right away with an opening montage of Will Eisner drawings. Now, he was never happy with with any of the pre-production ideas for the movie for his character. They've been trying to do it since the 70s when um, let's see, does it say who was going to be in here? Well, Burt Reynolds and Flip Wilson were going to be the lead characters, but that was in 75, and that would have been interesting, I suppose. But they tried to get it with writers like Pete Hamill, Jules Pfeiffer, Harlan Ellison, and Eisner himself, but he never liked it. Dennis Kitchen of Kitchen Sink Press said he never had a serious idea to see the Spirit in live action form and was just happy to collect the checks for the options, which probably made him a fair amount of money. So we start out here, and then we get some, these were all, where the comic strip turns into the live action. It's not a really great opening, but it works. And that is Sam Jones, or Sam J. Jones, the former Flash Gordon. 7 years after that, a movie which your humble agent really does enjoy as well. And I think he's already a better actor, but I think part of the Flash Gordon issue was that the script didn't give him intelligent things to say. And Nana Visitor, of course, we know her from Deep Space Nine, among many other things. And this was like her second movie that she'd been in. She'd been in television, of course, but there he is, Denny Colt, the civilian identity of the Spirit, he's on his way to meet a friend. Now Bumper Robinson plays Yubi, which is an updated version of the character called Ebony White. And Bumper is very young. He's done voiceover work and been in many things. He's very young here. He's been in lots of things. I think he's quite good. He's not nearly as obnoxious as some kids in superhero movies tend to be. There's a guy who's dealing with art, I forgot, counterfeit artifacts, and he's writing a manuscript, and that's why someone's out to kill him. Dun dun dun, and they do. So off Denny goes to, and that's in. By the way, they're in. Oh, where's the dang? There. He's in East Armfit, which is a running gag about it being. Everyone looks at it and says armpit, East Armfit, Oregon. So this guy gets killed, and he travels to Central City, but not the Central City of Barry Allen. This is a different Central City. Well, it might be. There was a crossover there waiting to happen. There we meet Inspector Dolan and his lovely wife Ellen, and Inspector Dolan was played by Commissioner Dolan, pardon me, Gary Wahlberg, who has been in tons of things, including Perry Mason and Gunsmoke and The Fugitive, and that is Nana Visitor as a blonde. Just I didn't remember she was in this until I saw it again in the. Oh, I haven't watched it since I got the DVD. This is the second time I've watched the DVD in I don't know two or 3 years. I liked the movie, but then I never read Spirit comics or strips, or I just knew who he was because he was ubiquitous, especially at Comic-Con with the Eisner Awards being named after Will Eisner, and the artwork is amazing. But I tried reading it in the 90s and it just never grabbed me because he wasn't a true superhero in the masked adventure mold. A lot of times, well, anyway, it just didn't get me, and I don't know. But there we meet Yubi, who's selling what he thinks are factory seconds, but turns out they're not. Ellen's introducing her father and her best friend, and there's the Will Eisner credit, so got money. And directed by Michael Schultz, who did The Last Dragon, which we have talked about and he also did Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, a movie I would kind of like to watch again, but kind of dread watching again. It's almost 2 hours, and it seems like about 12. But it would be a good fit for a Musical Friday, right? Right? Please say no. And there's Pagel, who is a long-running villain or I don't even know, in the Spirit comic strips. But all of these characters, this is right from, pretty much right from the origin story-ish, but that's her late husband there. You can see the pit and the pendulum. I don't remember where they said this was shot, but it wasn't it was a pilot, so it runs a little longer, but it was not successful, and ABC wasn't behind. I think it was ABC, wasn't behind it, and it just crashed and burned, and barely only us, the comic book fans knew it was alive. So Denny makes his introduction to both Pagel. I always called her Pagel because that's what it looked like, but it's Pagel, at least in this movie, so that's what I'm going to try to say. The women are taken with young Mr. Colt quite a bit. And he's got his signature colors on already, except that his hat's not blue. He introduces himself and says he's after someone. And then he meets Yubi, and he says these are hot because they've got the rewind works. And then he goes and introduces himself to Dr. Teasdale, who is Niles from The Bachelor, among, once again, many, many other things. Let's see, that's Daniel Davis. And he was also Professor Moriarty on Star Trek The Next Generation, which I didn't realize. He did that before he was Niles, but I believe he's done a bunch of other stuff. He was in the K9 pilot, and let's see, television, the A-Team, episodes of Matlock and Tall Tales and Legends. Let's see, I thought he did voiceovers too. Well, he was in even in Columbo. I don't see anything we'd really know here. So, yeah. But there's Niles, and Colt thinks he's the villain, and they throw him out. This guy says, "Hey, I got information for you. Meet me at Pier 10." He meets him, he shoots him, he falls into the water, and they don't find a body. So now we're at the graveyard, and there's Yubi's friend Stevie, who's got some hot albums, the latest Whitney Houston LP, which is The Return of the Zombies. I might have bought that one. Now, would this be the zombies that are, time of the season? Probably not. But yeah. So Yubi yells at Stevie for selling him hot merchandise because he just I might be a hustler, but I don't want to do anything that's going to get me in trouble. And then the headless corpse rises. Denny Colt's still alive. I don't know how he got there. It's not even explained. I don't know the actual origin of the spirit. I mean, it seems like this is close to it. Like, I have read it, but I don't remember anymore. he staggers long enough to say these things you better have a business license to sell these. Stevie runs away, and Yubi helps him into the mausoleum, which opens up mysteriously all on its own. Dun dun dun. So there's a little supernatural stuff going on here. Maybe the spirit of justice bringing him back to life. We don't know. But this is really well directed, and I think it's well acted. I mean, sure, if you're a Spirit fan, you probably didn't like it. But once again, I knew barely anything of the Spirit in 1987. Just Will Eisner was writing it, and was the creator, and it would, you'd see panels here and there that looked great, and the way he would do things. But I didn't, they weren't just. I had other things to buy then. But so now he's like, well, what are you going to do? Oh, yeah. And we see these are his mourners at his marked grave, and nobody knew him. So back in they go, because nobody looks up, apparently, to see lights shining out of a mausoleum. Yeah, now he's decided what he's going to do. Become a masked vigilante, but for justice. Love this shot. Just love it. I mean, look at the way that it's backlit. And yeah, that's a good-looking shot. I think the director there, Michael, what's his name, did a good job here. He kept directing even after Sergeant Pepper's because bleh. But yeah, Michael Schultz, he did a great job, and how much I enjoy The Last Dragon. So we get the montage of the spirit coming to aid police and beating up people. This went on for a minute, and then but the spirit sees that Teasdale announces new exhibits, which that's an Allosaurus if I've ever seen one. Look at the skull. And crime rate drops 21%. So he goes to meet with Commissioner Dolan and reveals himself to who as he really is. It says, okay, don't tell anyone. Like that mask would hide his identity. Or the mask and the hat. I mean, it's really hard to hide your secret, have a secret identity with people that know you, because you act too much the same. Ellen shows up and crashes a vase over his head, giving him yet another concussion. And she's like, oh. And then he says, it's all right. But they have some chemistry here. They do have some good chemistry. I think that it would have been fun to see more episodes. And I like the fade outs, or whatever you want to call them, with the mask. And they're her best friend, Pagel, whatever her last name was, Roxton. Geez, Roxton. There's a ominous name for you anyway, especially if you're a Marvel fan. In the hot tub, just any chance to get women in bikinis, I suppose. I'm not complaining, because I think that Pagel was played by Lauren M. Robinson, and she did an excellent job. Let's see if we see anything else that she's been in. If I've seen anything. Friday the 13th, the series. Cheers. The stork brings a crane. Oh, Colonel Powers. She was in the Flash episode Alpha. We'll get to the Flash of that one, the first one anyway. I did really enjoy the first several seasons of the second Flash. So she's really good. I thought she was perfectly cast. I think the cast was great. It's very lighthearted, and by 87 the grim and gritty superheroes were what they wanted, but the spirit in comic book form was never super heavy duty. He crawls into the women's bathroom by accident, washroom as it says there. They do a little helping each other, or he's helping her out. I don't remember if she's stuck or something, but he's searching around the museum to see what he can find for these counterfeit artifacts, and he does. And we get some nice action scenes, and I think Sam did a lot of his own stunts. Probably not this one, but that mask isn't fooling anybody. And his fight scenes are fun. Not too much chop edit stuff. And I'm pretty sure that these stuntmen worked. They didn't kill each other. But he's overconfident and gets cracked in the back of the head. There's his second concussion. And I'm going to place him in an easily escapable situation that would allow an overly elaborate and exotic death. I mean, they should have just shot him. I mean, of course, that didn't work the first time, so And that's not explained either. But he's over a vat of acid, and this rookie, she's called the cab, waiting for him. But now she sees the lights go off and says, "Wait here." Another interstitial, and she helps him out and then drops him on the ground, knocking him out. His third concussion. I mean, the guy's got Dane Bramage by now. And she's dragging him out of the museum like this. He makes a comment. She says, "Help me, it's the spirit." And so that gets him up there. She wants to look under his mask and remembers this, and then chooses her father's the memory of her father away. And then they just have this little funny, obvious Freudian slip thing going on, which was a running gag. But again, they're easy company. They have a good chemistry. They're relaxed with each other. So, I mean, they must have been having fun doing this. They knew it wasn't going to, probably knew that it wasn't going to go anywhere overall, but it's too bad. So they take him back. She nurses him. He's having brisket or something. And then Dad says the maid made it. And there's the maid or the housekeeper. And she wants his autograph. And it's a cute bit. Now we're back. Look at it's right out of the comic book. I don't know if he actually lived there. Where does he go to the bathroom? What's he eat? How's he pay for food? I mean, I think that as a vigilante outside the law and outside life, really, if people said, "Here, have a brisket," or have here's some food, he'd probably take it. But there's no bathroom in here. Maybe that's what all that steam is, because it's present. So he's making Yubi study. And if Yubi hasn't been watching television, because Batman made Robin learn everything. Every Robin he's had to study and go to school and excel. Because Batman. Now, there is a snide comment from the Spirit about Robin, which isn't true. It's kind of funny. And, kind of funny, but it's not true. And now he's dressing up, and he looks like, I thought he was trying to be the old prospector that Clayton Moore was in The Lone Ranger. But he's pretending he's wanting to scare someone, and he thinks that it's going to be Teasdale, who is not as tall as you might think as he was from the nanny. But then we find out Pagel is the real villain, because she's in league with that's her thug that shot him. They're supposed to follow the old prospector in here, and then he beats the stuffing out of him until she shows up and zaps him with a trank dart right over his own gravestone. So she takes him in there and wants to know where the manuscript is, because that's the whole thing. There's a manuscript that the friend sent, which doesn't exist. But I just like to have that they have the dinosaur there, since that's one of their new exhibits. Dad's there. There's a running joke about his health with the pipe, but Yubi gives him this message, and why it's in quotation marks, we don't know. And of course, everything isn't under control because Pagel's got him. As we see, they're beating him, and he's stoic because he's the good guy. And of course, he can survive a bullet wound to the chest, and he probably can survive a couple of whacks with a wet noodle or whatever they're hitting him with. But he says Ellen's name, so Pagel goes and grabs her now former best friend, who's gagged. She gives him the old, "Join up with me, we'll be a great pair, and I'll let her live." He says it's a deal. She kisses him and realizes, nope, you're a bad liar, Spirit. And because she can tell he's in love with somebody else, even though they met like 3 times. And she's a little too, she gets all the lines like this, whereas, it's funny, but did we need it in a serious time? But there's levity here. I mean, it is not a serious thing. I mean, they're only lacking, animated, words that when he hits the bad guy so hard that animated words form out of thin air. But you can see the picture here from the DVD's fine. It's as good as it's going to get. No one's ever going to, well, they might. You never know. Warner Brothers might boost it up on Blu-ray. I don't know if I'd double dip on this one. But that's the old Iron Maiden that's going to menace her. She's in an easily escapable trap. And now the bombs are being set. The henchmen have put the bombs down. The Spirit breaks his bonds and just puts this block there to stop her. He doesn't cut the cord so that it won't kill her. But and just leaves her. You'll be safe here. Off he goes, and he and he gets all the, well, two of the bombs he dismantles the thugs. And then Bruno, is Bruno not even named here? Well, not, at least in, and I don't have IMDb up. Second bomb is done, and they're wondering what's going on here. There's the kids that Ubi was having them race each other for money and giving the winners a cut, I guess. You just don't know. Now, Pagel is getting ready to leave. She's like, okay, you got to pack everything. Lives in this gorgeous house, which is her former husband, her ex-husband's deceased husband. Nice fight scene with him and Bruno. They do a little sword. I'd love to see Just Stab Me, Jill Barrett, talk about it, though it's very basic because obviously these guys are not fencers at all of any kind. But, there again, Sam's doing his own stunts, and I would assuming Bruno was a stuntman actor. They take a really great gag into the cake, which those are the longest arms on any theropod ever, but they're super skinny. And he comes out and he has to find the bomb, but he saves it, right? And then Ellen shows up screaming, "Everyone look out, get out." And he's like, "Oh, no, we're safe." But off they go to find Pagel, and she hears the sirens, but she's promoted her houseboy to giving him to, I guess, someone who's taken her away. And she probably took a lot of money with her. So she escapes. And there's what she looks like a lot of times in the comic strip / comic book. And when she says that, she means it. So the artifacts are being returned. The world is working together to return them, and because everyone's got counterfeits, and they're having a little celebration here, and they get to almost ready to be do some kissing, and he says, "Oh, well, I'm sure we'll see Pagel again," but that would be an obvious Freudian slip. And she's like, "Well, the moment passes, and you've really done up the place nice." But doesn't ask him where his bathroom is. She must have brought all the food there because they've got cognac and a candle. And, look at that. It looks like it's bigger on the inside than it is on the outside, doesn't it? But he says, "Here, let me walk you home." And she's like, "I can walk home." with thunder and lightning, and they're in a comic book graveyard. So she says, "Okay," with mist. Always has mist on the ground. And off they go. And she says, "Spirit, this could be the beginning of a beautiful friendship." It's not quite word for word, but yeah. And alas, it was not. That was it. And I've never seen the 2008 Spirit movie. I have no desire to. Dr. Ellen Dolan, geez. So, it just didn't look very good. And what was it rated? I don't even remember now. I haven't seen. I should see it. It seems like, but so anyway, this has been The Spirit, and following this, you'll see a little 3-minute Brad Bird and test film for The Spirit that he wanted to do in the 80s. Where is that? I'll tell you here. It was going to be a cartoon, 1980s animator Brad Bird, who did The Wonderful Iron Giant and those two Fantastic Four homage movies that were very popular. It was incredible how popular they were, and I like them, but come on. So until our next assignment, just remember the Spirit is out there, and this is X7 signing off and phasing out.
In 1939, Detective Denny Colt broke 19 previously unsolved cases, which eventually led to the arrest and conviction of 37 of the most wanted criminals in Central City. He was the city's single most effective crime fighter. Needless to say, a lot of people wanted him dead.
to Denny Colt. May he stay dead. Yeah, damn right.
Denny, you're alive.
Yeah.
This is incredible. I'll tell the press. No, I'll call Ellen first.
Don't. You're the only one I want to know. For all intents and purposes, I want to remain dead.
God be with your spirit. Grace be with you. Amen.
See, as far as records go, I won't exist. I can operate without the normal restrictions.
What do you want?
I'm a private detective.
How private?
I just think I could perform my duty better.
What you gonna call yourself? I mean, you gotta have a name.
I don't know. I hadn't thought about it. I guess Superman's taken, isn't it? Yeah.